My dear child, I see the burdens you carry. You wake each day with questions in your heart, asking why life must be so heavy and the path so unclear. Yes, the trials you face bring pain and uncertainty, but consider this. Why does the gardener prune the vine? Is it not to help it bear more fruit? Likewise, I allow difficulties in your life, not to harm you, but to refine and strengthen you. Do you remember the story of the man who prayed to love without selfishness? Years later, he found himself in a marriage filled with challenges and misunderstandings. He asked me, "Why did you give me this burden?" I reminded him of his prayer. This is my answer. Through these trials, you are learning to love as I do without condition. My child, I discipline you because I love you. Hebrews 12:6. Trust that these moments of struggle are not wasted. When the time comes, you will look back and see how far you have grown. Life often feels like a steep mountain, doesn't it? You wish there were an easier way, but let me tell you the truth. The road to the summit is always uphill. Yes, your knees may ache, and your heart may feel weary, but the view at the top is worth it. Think of the flower that blooms after enduring the sun's heat, the rain's weight, and the frost's bite. Its beauty is not despite these trials, but because of them. So it is with your soul. You may not understand it now, but every challenge you face is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. My child, do not be afraid of the pain that comes with growth. When you feel overwhelmed, remember my promise. I am with you always, to the end of the age. Matthew 28:20. When you feel lost in despair, remember this. Hope is the light I have placed in your heart. It is the assurance that I will never leave you and that your future is secure in my hands. Look around you. The world may seem full of chaos and uncertainty, but my plans for you were steadfast. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29, banding 11. You may not see the path ahead clearly, but trust in me. Like a parent teaching a child to walk, I guide you one step at a time. Even when you stumble, my hand is always there to lift you. Though you fall, you will not be overwhelmed. For I hold you by my hand. Psalm 37, banding 24. Do you feel as though your suffering has no purpose? My child, you are looking through the lens of this world. Let me give you my perspective. What seems like a loss may be the beginning of something greater. What feels like rejection may be my redirection. Consider the story of Zacchaeus on Mount Athos. He asked the hermit if there was an easier way to salvation, and the hermit replied, "There is only one road, and it climbs upward. It will hurt your knees and bleed your soul, but there is no other path to the summit where you will see the sun." I do not promise an easy journey, but I do promise this: you will never walk alone. Above all, know this: you are loved, not with a fleeting or conditional love, but with a love that is eternal and unchanging. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, I have continued my faithfulness to you. Jeremiah 31:3. You are precious to me, my child. I formed you with care, counted the hairs on your head, and engraved your name on my palm. Do not measure your worth by the standards of this world. You are my creation, fearfully and wonderfully made. When you doubt my love, look to the cross. There I bore your pain and carried your sorrows. I laid down my life so that you could live. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. John 15:13. I call you to live in my love, not just to receive it, but to share it with others. When you forgive, when you serve, when you love your neighbor, you reflect me to the world. Love is not always easy. It requires patience, humility, and sacrifice. But it is the highest calling and the greatest joy. Love one another as I have loved you. John 13:34. Let your love be sincere, free from judgment and resentment. Remember, love is the fulfillment of my law. Romans 13:10. My child, life is a journey filled with valleys and peaks. In every season, whether in joy or sorrow, anchor yourself in me. Do not let fear or doubt steal your peace. When you face challenges, lean on me. When you feel hopeless, remember my promises. When you doubt my love, look to the cross. You are never alone, for I am with you always. Now go and live in faith, hope, and love, knowing that nothing, neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor rulers, nor things present, nor things to come, can separate you from my love. Romans 8:30, 8:39. My beloved child, I know the weight you carry. Your heart feels weary. Your soul trembles like a small bird caught in a winter storm, afraid to take flight. You question why life feels so heavy, why the path before you is fraught with challenges. Yet I tell you, these struggles are not signs of my absence. They are moments when I am closest to you. When you face pain, disappointment, or fear, remember, it is not a punishment. It is a path. Like a seed buried in the earth must break apart to sprout, so too must you endure growth. Do you recall what I said? Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Trust this promise, for I do not leave my children to walk alone. Let me tell you a story. Once, a young man prayed fervently, asking to learn love without conditions. His heart longed for the purity of selfless affection. Years passed, and he found himself in a marriage filled with strife. He cried out to me, "Why, Lord? Why have you given me such a burden?" And I reminded him of his prayer. "You asked to learn love. This is my answer. True love grows, not in ease, but in perseverance. Do you understand? Sometimes what you see as hardship is the answer to your deepest prayers. You may say, but Lord, must it hurt so much? And I tell you, the path to the summit is steep. The great Kozenzekis once asked a hermit if there was an easier road to salvation. The hermit replied, "There is only one road, and it climbs upward. Along the way, your knees will ache, and your soul will bleed. But at the summit, you will see the sun." You wonder why a loving God allows suffering? Consider this. A gardener prunes the vine so it may bear more fruit. A sculptor chisels the stone to reveal beauty. In the same way, I shape you through trials. It is not cruelty, it is care. Remember Job, who lost all he held dear yet declared, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Job 1:21. He did not see the purpose of his pain at first, but in the end, he found not only restoration, but a deeper understanding of my love. When the storm rages, do not let your heart be consumed by fear. Fear is a shadow that cannot stand before my light. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1-7. Hope is the anchor of the soul, steadfast and secure. Hebrews 6:19. It reminds you that the darkness will not last forever, that my plans for you are good. When you feel like Peter, sinking beneath the waves, call out to me. I will extend my hand as I did for him. saying, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" Even when life seems unbearable, remember my promise. I know the plans I have for you, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29, banding 11. Trust in this truth, for I am working all things for your good. Imagine a child with a broken toy, crying as though the world has ended. To him, the loss is unbearable, but to his parent, it is a small thing, easily mended. So to do, I see your pain. It is real and deep, but it is not the end. Trust me to bring healing in time. Above all, my child, know this: you are loved. Not with a fleeting or conditional love, but with an everlasting love. Even when you feel unworthy, even when you fall, my love remains. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us, Romans 5-8. Do you doubt your worth? Look to the cross. There I bore your pain and carried your sorrows. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. John 15:13. You are worth that sacrifice. True love is not about ease. It is about endurance. It is patient and kind, bearing all things and hoping all things. 1 Corinthians 4:17. I call you to live in this love, not just to receive it, but to share it. When you love others, you reflect me. My child, the journey of life is not easy, but it is meaningful. Each trial shapes you, each hope sustains you, and each act of love brings you closer to me. When you feel lost, remember my words. I am the way and the truth and the life. John 14:6. Go forth in faith, hope, and love, knowing that nothing can separate you from my love. Romans 8:39. Trust in my promises and know that I am with you always, to the end of the age.